Right, hello. Welcome to Slag and Embers, a mod created by Luna. It's a metallurgy mod for Minecraft similar to Tinker's Construct, though I'd say it's less complicated overall. While this mod doesn't remove the vanilla way of creating the basic tools like swords, axes and shovels, it allows for alternative ways to create your tools and blocks, as well as adding in unique tools and materials to craft them from. For example, the hammer. It allows you to dig, chop, and mine all in one tool, which saves you on 2 of your inventory slots. Or tools like the paxel, which is a combination of all 5 of the vanilla tools, allowing you to fight, mine, dig, chop, and even till land, saving you on many useful slots. Firstly though, we'll need to cover the setup. All of the metallurgy blocks and structures in this mod will require deep alloy, which can be made in the new brick forge, a unique building to the mod which allows for the creation of this new alloy, as well as rose gold, a unique metal to the mod. Aside from these 2 products, I'm unsure how much use it has, but you will need to create the necessary deep alloys for the rest of the building, so you will need to start here. Now that you have plenty of deep alloy, it's time to make a melter. The melter is the only way in the mod to turn your precious metals into their liquid forms, so this should be the first building you craft, requiring 6 deep alloy ingots, 2 rose gold bars, and a drain, another unique building which we'll cover in a moment, which can be crafted simply from placing 1 deep alloy into a crafting bench. Because the melter comes with a drain, we can make a simple metallurgy setup with just a few blocks. Place the melter over an open fire source, such as lava, fire, or preferably a campfire. This will act as the heat source which the melter will use to liquefy the ores, though it has nowhere to drain them to at the moment, so the liquid will simply remain in the melter. By crafting and placing ourselves a casting basin, and placing it behind the faucet of the melter, we're able to pour molten metal back into its block form. The conversion rate is the same, so it's no better to use a casting basin as opposed to crafting a block in the crafting table. However, this is simply an option in case you want to retrieve any liquid metals back into their solid forms, for whatever reason. Notice that, at the moment, we don't have much control over what gets poured into the basin, even though we have multiple different ores in our melter. The mod resolves this issue by using crucibles and liquid interfaces, which aren't as confusing as they sound. Put simply, the crucible is a block which can be scaled up simply by placing more of the same of it next to each other. You can hold crouch and right-click to change its sprite, making the crucible see-through, letting you see what's inside it without a liquid interface. The crucible will pour whatever metal is at the bottom first, and to change this we'll need a liquid interface. Adding one is easy. Simply place it on any side of the crucible. Provided it holds any liquid metals inside, the liquid's interface sprite will display the chosen metal, which will be the first to be poured into any basins or casting tables. You can change what metal is poured simply by interacting with the interface and selecting the metal you'd like to use. Speaking of casting tables, these are the main way you'll be making your tools, and are where the unique tools from this mod come from. While you could use a setup similarly to our first, using a melter which feeds directly into a casting table rather than a basin, the control and storage that a crucible setup provides you is very useful and shouldn't be overlooked. Casting tables will need molds to work, which can be made out of sand or terracotta. I would recommend terracotta as they are not broken upon use and can be remolded as many times as you'd like. To create our casting template, we'll first need to create a wooden head of the tool in a crafting bench that we'd like to manufacture from metal, such as an axe head or a sword's blade. Open up your inventory, hold the wooden template in your hand, then right-click on the cast. It should adopt the shape of the tool, which will allow you to place it into a casting table. All we simply need to do now is ensure our crucible or melter is filled up with molten metal, ensuring to select the metal that we want to use using a liquid interface. By placing a drain directly above our casting table, we're able to pour the molten metal directly from our crucible over the cast, and after a few seconds, voila! We now have a metal tool, though it's still missing a few parts, namely a handle. To put these parts together, we're going to need our crafting bench and a modular tool blueprint, which can be crafted from 3 sheets of paper and 1 ball of clay. I guess the clay is there to dye it blue. I'm going to be making an iron mattock, which uses both an axe head and a hoe blade, as well as 2 sticks. However, because these tools are made from iron, we unfortunately don't have the necessary forging force to bash it together. This is where the mallet comes in. You could substitute it for a hammer, but I find the mallet has less parts, and so it's easier to make. If we use the same modular tool blueprint, as well as a stone axe head and pickaxe head that I can simply make in a crafting bench, I'm able to create a mallet alongside 2 sticks. Simply load up the blueprint and bash them together using a stone block, caveman style. Remember that you do need to do this in a crafting bench, but now that we have our mallet, we just need to make ourselves another blueprint, as unfortunately they're consumed upon making a tool. Let's load it up with our iron axe head, hoe blade and sticks, then smack it together with our new mallet. We've just made a mattock. This tool is excellent for chopping wood and tilling farmland, as you could probably guess from the heads that were used to make it. This mod adds 8 new tools, which can be made by combining the basic tool heads we've all been using in vanilla Minecraft. There's the mattock, which of course we've just covered, the gripe or grape, I'm unsure on the pronunciation, but it's a tool designed for digging in dirt and tilling land, a preferable tool for farmers. Then there's the pry bar, made by combining a shovel and a pickaxe head, which makes varied digging a breeze. Of course we have the mallet, and by proxy its big brother the hammer, which takes an additional shovel blade when making it to make it the perfect universal tool for your daily mining and forging needs. There's the scythe, for all of you Grim Reaper fans, which uses a guard, another castable part, alongside both a sword and a hoe blade. There's the maul, which is a brutal weapon, and of course the paxel, which is the jack of all trades. In addition to all of the basic metals in vanilla Minecraft, Slagen Embers allows you to forge tools outside of Minecraft's regular progression, like its unique rose gold, for example. I'm not going to rattle off all of the stats of every single tool and every different metal, as I'd be here all day, but some of the more requested tools, like emerald tools and obsidian tools, can be made, as well as tools from non-meltable materials, such as bone and even popped chorus fruit. These can simply be crafted in a crafting bench by making the tool head there, then combining like usual with a modular blueprint. Lastly, I just wanted to say that overall I love this mod. It's fairly new, so it's highly possible some changes could be made. Personally, I would have liked to see a different approach to crafting the tools, as combining them in your inventory over a blueprint feels a little clunky, but it's a fun and unique way to implement metalworking without too much bloat or complexity. And of course, lastly, thanks for listening in. I'm still new to making videos, as I'm sure you can probably tell. This is the first time I've actually tried to read from a script, so I apologise if I speak a little too quickly, but I mainly made this video as an excuse to force myself to learn the mod, as I couldn't find many good guides available for it on YouTube. I hope this has helped in some way. Cheers.